makeup that is both skin infused and high performing, so products that are good for their skin while they're wearing it, as well as products that last all day, of course, because people like their makeup to last, right? Yeah. Before I get started, do we have any questions that I can kind of talk about? No? And if not, that's okay. Feel free to be very open, raise your hand, ask me questions while I'm working. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll also do my best to pass around products. I know you all have some MAC in your kits most likely, but you might not have all the products I'm using. And while I have you all here staring at me, can I maybe get a raise of hands of, are any of you pro members or pro students with MAC already? So you would have like a, what we call a PPID card, so you could get like an exclusive discount at our stores.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah? So like only 2 of you? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah? 4? 5? Okay, so if you're not a pro student or a pro member, and if you're interested, for pro students it is free. For members there is often a yearly fee. But if that's something that interests you, speak to Jasreen and myself after. I'll collect your name and we'll try to expedite it a little bit faster. That way you can get some more products in your kit if you're interested in something. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So my model here came in with a little bit of her personal skincare as well as her personal sunscreen on her face. I feel like that's going to be very common when you're working in the makeup world. People come prepped, they want their skin to be like ready and primed. I would generally advise lightly cleansing the skin before starting your makeup routine, only because you don't know which products are on the skin, how long they've been there, and sometimes products aren't made equally. So often I find products that have sun protection can sometimes pill, roll, or ball on the skin if you do a lot of like physical tapping, blending, sweeping. So it's always safe to just start fresh with the products that you know you want to use, right? So I took a little bit of a makeup wipe, softly cleansed my model's skin here, did a soft foundation match along the jaw, and landed on a shade that I wanted to use, but I might use 2 just to softly kind of illuminate certain areas. Now, the foundations I'm going to be using today will do a lot of the work for me. If you're looking to create that like healthy, dewy, trendy, glowing skin, start with products that have those skin-loving ingredients already in them. It will do half the work for you. If you go in with products with maybe too much oil control or products that are going to dry down differently than you'd want, you're going to be like swimming upstream. You're going to be going against the current, right? Now to start, I'm going to grab Fix Plus. This is Magic Radiance. So it's not like the traditional Fix Plus, which you've probably seen. Magic Radiance actually has a blend of vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, MAC essential oils, so you have to shake it. This gives instant, dewy, glass skin, like runway ready. In a pinch, this is a really great moisturizer if you don't want to spend time identifying your client's needs. If you're in a rush, you need a refresh. It's also sanitary because it's in a spray bottle, so you don't have to scoop all the time, right? Okay, close your eyes. I'll let you tell me how that feels. How's it feel? Good. Does anyone want to see the product? I can pass it around. Feel free to spray it on your hand. Why not? I'll pass it here. So, while that is marinating into the skin, what I'm going to do is just grab a nice flat brush. This will be my main tool today for the skin products. I'm just going to lightly massage it into the skin. What's nice about massaging your skincare into the skin, I know this is an aesthetic school, so you probably all know more than me, but it's nice because it can help almost micro-exfoliate any unwanted texture that might be on the surface of the skin, right? It's going to remove any dead skin cells. It's going to press the product in. It's almost like that lymphatic drainage as well. Because we're focusing on more of a glowing look, Stroke Cream, always a hero product with MAC. Do you like it? I see you kind of nodding your head. It comes in a few different shades. There's peach, gold, and pink. I think for today I want to try, I'm going to do the gold today because it's a little bit brighter. I think it will kind of go with the vibe we're creating. Now you really don't need a lot. It is quite a thick moisturizer, so really only apply it to the areas that you want a lot of shine. If the T-zone is a struggle area for your client, but they do want a glowing skin look, pick and choose where you're applying that additional glow, because it does still need to last them, right? So additional glow, we're going to focus it on the cheeks. Because this is just for a fun class, and my model doesn't necessarily have to wear this for her wedding day, I will apply it through the T-zone as well. So it's the strobe in gold, which I'll pass around. So really what strobe cream is it's a moisturizer. It has a pearl pigment in it, so it is going to catch the light, reflect it, diffuse the light as well, creates a very like otherworldly shine. So very healthy. If you have not used it, I would totally suggest trying it out. Even if you're doing more so like a full glam on the chest area, the collarbones, it's very pretty. Just to kind of bring the look, make it more cohesive. Makeup doesn't stop at the jaw. Always, right? Okay. So I chose 2 shades. I actually swatched 4 shades along her jaw before getting started. I had her look at them as well to collaborate. Very important. We may see our clients one way, but they may see themselves another, in how they like their skin to look, right? Like I've never actually met her before, so I don't know what her makeup looks daily, and I don't know what she wants to look daily. So I gotta make it rich. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of NC30 as well as NC25, and if I need to adjust it from there, I will. But as you can see, there's a big shade difference. I also brought a primer in, part of the Studio Radiance family. So this primer, it's almost a gel. It's loaded with hyaluronic acid. It's very plumping for the skin. Very juicy, very bouncy, has a little bit of grip and stick to it. This product is incredible in a kit because it almost will transform any foundation into a glowing finish. Like if you mainly carry matte textures in your kit, this will help transform it for you. Okay. So as you can see, most of what I've done so far is skincare and skin prep. She looks like very juicy, very glowy, very healthy. Any product we put on top now will just be enhanced. I will probably choose to powder certain areas so we have a very healthy balance, right? If someone's all shine, that can also be like unappealing. So you need to have that critical eye when you're working and knowing which areas you want to focus on to have that light reflection or that matte texture. So using this brush, it is the 171 brush. I almost call it like a wedge sponge on a stick. It's so good. I really love pressing foundation directly into it. If you load the brush up well enough, all the product doesn't go on in one spot. It kind of helps disperse the product, that way you can get more of an even blend. If it's all sitting right on the surface of the tool, it's gonna go directly in one area, and then you're gonna load up way too much product there and have to pump out more, which in the end will waste, right? So generally doing downward strokes towards the outer portion of the face is my personal suggestion. Pressing the foundation in to kind of build up coverage in areas you may want more, and sweeping the areas that you want less. I do often, if I'm going for a very natural look, start with my foundation over concealer. I do find foundation will almost cover the majority of the skin. From there, I can decide where I need extra coverage. Everyone does makeup differently. There's so many different styles. If you are doing a fuller glam, you may want to start with concealer just to really pinpoint those areas and build it up. It just kind of takes time to finesse and master your craft and decide on what you like. How's the skin looking from far away? Because I can't see.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have to mattify some areas. But how's it feeling for you?
Cool. It's pretty light.
Yeah, absolutely.
Breathable.
So the foundation I'm using, it is called Studio Radiance. It's actually 80% skincare. Within that 80% skincare base, there is a total of 33 different skincare ingredients. So very highly skin infused. And what that means is it's going to help nourish the skin while you're wearing it. It gives a very instant glow, looks dewy, but it also conditions the skin over time. So as you're wearing it, that little bit of skincare is assisting in softening the skin, right? Conditioning it. That way the skin that we actually see physically with our eyes is in a little bit better standing over time. Does the room have any questions or critiques at all yet that we can talk about?
Wow, you guys are so smart.
You're enjoying the show.
Do you like to do eye makeup after, or?
Not always, but today I wanted to be more of a skin focus, so I know that I'm not doing much on the eyes. If I am doing a very heavy, bold eye, I'm going to start with the eye in case there's any shadow fallout, shimmer, dust particles, whatever you want to call it, right? Pigment particles, sorry. In this case, because I am keeping it more of a skin focus, and really to help myself, on the eye I might do some cream products or even liner buffed in, that way it's not going to really fall. But skin is the goal today.
What shade are you using on it?
We're currently just using NC30. So I swatch between NC20, 25, 30, all along the jaw. I have some 25 here that I might use to brighten the center of the face because my model's chest here is a little bit fairer than the skin on her face, and I kind of collaborated with her originally on how she likes her skin to look. Before I go in though, I'm going to use this and just cleanse the brush so there's not too much product.
I just want to ask that if the skin is problematic, like it has scars or depression, will we follow the same steps and same products?
I would say you always need to be able to adjust as a makeup artist and know the canvas that you're working on. Depending on like the health of the skin, the texture of the skin, you will need to pivot, work with the canvas that you're working on. Certain looks are going to be more flattering for certain skin types. And I'm not saying that people with maybe more pigmentation or any scarring cannot wear a glowing look, but you need that balance of like coverage as well as some oil control, and then choose the glow in specific areas.
So when we use the concealer, before or after?
I actually would still probably do it after personally. Like I will add more coverage with the concealer here on top. I find adding concealer after, especially on such a radiant base, allows it to melt into the skin, so it's a little bit less stiff. You have an easier blend.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that does help you. I'm gonna switch brushes to a smaller brush, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of brightening towards the inner portion. Your clients rarely have one skin tone on their face and on their bodies, so it's all about creating that balance and harmony for them, so they look look like themselves, right? They have multiple shades throughout their complexion. And now I'm just pressing this lighter shade directly on top. Pressing will really allow me to build up some coverage without disturbing the product that's already underneath. If I swipe and drag, it's really going to almost lift and pull the rest of the product off, or that's not my goal. I want to press, stamp, allow the coverage to be built up very easily. And this same type of brush really does help with that because it is a little bit more dense. I referenced it's almost similar to a sponge, right? Gives a very similar effect. And the angle is very nice to almost fit into the contours of my model's face. It fits under the eye, beside the nose. Always take a moment to step back, look from a distance. When you're up close, you get so magnified to one feature, it's hard to see the full picture, right? Also, let's talk about lighting really briefly. This room that I'm in is incredible. There's such good lighting. I can see every little detail. If you're working out of someone's home, you want to bring your own lighting, or you want to find the most natural lighting in their space, whether it's a window, even closer to outside. Lighting will change the look of makeup in a second. I've swatched makeup, loved it, seen it in a different light, and been like, what did I do? Like, make it stop. So you really want to be mindful of what type of light you're in. Even here in my sanitary tools, I have a small light that I can always just use to shine if I needed to. I don't need to today because there's so much. But this would be very helpful if we were in a darker space. So her skin is looking very healthy, very beautiful. I do want to grab a little bit of concealer. The concealer will actually be more on the matte side. And what's nice about that is the blend will help the makeup almost adhere a little bit better, stick, and ensure that it's not going to melt or transfer. Except to find a shade though. So the foundation I'm using is called Studio Radiance. The concealer I'm using is called Studio Fix. So it's part of that more oil controlling family. Now looking at my model, the concealer, I just want to almost help balance out any extra pigmentation. So I'm looking more so towards the side of her cheek here. If you can turn your head that way, just a little bit right here. Just a very tiny bit. That might have been too much, honestly. And once again, that same technique, really just pressing it so it doesn't disturb any of the actual foundation under. If you can turn back the other way for me. then my model has one small blemish that she was concerned about, but it's actually almost gone. So I don't think we even need to provide much extra coverage there. Check that way. So as you kind of build your kit, your artistry, you'll find tools that you love, and your personal style will change. Like I've done almost this whole foundation and base routine with one brush. You'll have your favorites, right? And you'll kind of learn how they work. So I would say have a variety of different options. You want some that are dense, some that are a little bit softer, more loose, but you'll learn what you actually end up liking. Look up for me, please. Thank you. Now when it comes to the nose, I find product doesn't stick as well. I do less product on the nose. Generally as well, in the smile lines, things will always migrate, things will always move. A little bit less product there is beneficial. I also advise the people I'm working on to almost just press out any creases rather than wipe. Things that may seem like common knowledge to you may not be common knowledge to a client, right? So really just kind of like guiding them through best practices of how to maintain their makeup throughout the day, whether it's blotting with a tissue, using a fixing spray, pressing rather than wiping.
Do you ever color correct?
Truthfully, it depends on the client and the type of look, and if I wanted something more of like a fuller glam versus a more natural glam. Like today I was briefed on, do a very natural, glowing looking skin, trendy, but like summer focused, right? I don't think everyone needs color correction, so it's something you can always add in, but you just have to be mindful of who, where, when. I also think with social media, people have different expectations. So it's good to know your client base, their expectations, their preferences, the types of looks that they like. That way you can kind of be prepared, right? You can show up knowing the general style of what they're looking for. That way you can kind of help them get there. Even with like say the eyelid, I don't usually put concealer on the eyelid to brighten it. I feel like it's not necessary for everybody. Depends on what type of look you're doing though. I'll usually use like an eyeshadow base to kind of help balance rather than concealer. Okay. Skin's looking healthy. You look glowing. Dewy? Okay, so when it comes to face powders, this is your style? I love that, good. When it comes to face powders, there's so many different kinds. Be mindful that some are more oil controlling than others. Some have a little bit more light reflection built into them. For a glowing look, using more of like a mineral pressed powder will maintain that glow. It's not gonna dull down any areas. If you were to go in with something more like a traditional translucent, this may be good under my client's eyes or the areas you really want to prevent from moving. But if I put this all over her face right now, it's going to suck up all the moisture. And it's almost going to take me back like 3 steps. Like, great, I built up all the moisture, now it's all gone. So you do need a few options for powder as well, just depending on what kind of look you're going for. So I'm going for the mineral powder today, that's what I decided. The shade is medium golden. With it, very light touch. So I'm more so wanting to graze the skin. I'm not stamping. Stamping product in will really build up the coverage, but that's not my intention right now. My intention is to maintain that very like light, soft glow. So I'm using, this brush is the 187. It's more of a dual fiber style. What that means is it's very loose right at the tip. It's not too dense or too heavily packed. And and that's gonna really spread and disperse the product for me. So choosing the right tools will help you kind of get to your destination a bit faster. Tilt up. So still doing light downward strokes. You also don't need to powder everywhere. It depends on your personal technique and the type of look you're trying to create. More brush hair on me, I'll get that later. If you think of powder, it's almost sealing in all of your liquid products. So if you decide to go in with your powder and you're noticing some of the liquids have shifted, fallen into fine lines, texture, you might want to just press that out, re-blend it before sealing it with the powder, right? Otherwise you're almost stamping that unwanted texture into place. Now for my model, what is your favorite type of like cheek blush combo? What kind of colors are you attracted to? Cool tone pinks usually?
I do like to contour.
For under the eye, you do always want to go in with a little bit more of a precise brush, something that's really going to get all the detail for you. So this is more of like an eyeshadow brush. If you can look up for me. I've noticed some of that hydration has fallen into some fine lines, so I'm just going to repress it out. Okay. Really gently grazing the under eye. Not stamping. Now there's so many different types of makeup looks out there, and I know this is a very natural makeup look, so you may be looking at it saying like, oh, it's very soft, right? I do find this type of look is requested a lot for, say, different types of industries. Depends on what type of industry you want to get into. A no makeup look is very beneficial for commercial work. If you're doing makeup for anything that's on camera, but it's not meant to be like a glamorous wedding, that's where you're gonna wanna make the makeup look like it's not there, traceless. It's not necessarily an Instagram glam. So there is a difference, and I would say it's very important to not only know your audience, but to collaborate with whoever else is on your team or on the team you're working with. If it's a director or a photographer, whatever the story may be, you need to understand what the concept is, right?
I feel like a lot of brides are requesting, makeup look.
Are they?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to look like it's glowing skin instead of heavy foundation. I noticed that a lot with even customers who are asking nowadays for makeup.
Okay.
They're wanting very soft, natural glow.
Definitely depends, yeah,
Soft
on
glam.
your demographic too, and
Yes.
their comfort level. Some people have different expectations on like what no makeup is.
Yes.
It's always better to go softer. You can always add more after. So if you see, I powdered. It took a while to powder. I did each area a little bit more precisely. Her skin is still glowing. Like it's not as matte or flat as it potentially could be, which is great because I didn't want it to be. She said she likes some contouring, so I brought out a contour palette, and I have a lot of different shades of blush that we can go through, but I do want to focus on one of our new textures at MAC. It's called the Glow Play Cushiony Blush. So it's almost like a softer sponge-like texture. It's a hybrid between both a cream and a powder. What's nice about this product is it gives a very healthy glow, but it doesn't really look too waxy or too wet. It does sit on the skin very well. Over here. While I do that, I'll show you some shades. Pass those around if you would like. And feel free to swatch them. I'll sanitize you with alcohol. If you want to feel it, go for it. So looking at my model's complexion, she's like fair to medium, medium to fair. So you do want something more mid-toned and maybe a little bit more on the ashy side to give like a very realistic contour. If you go in with, say, a bronzer, it can create a very like healthy, warm look. I love it personally, but I don't consider it a contour. So it just depends on your goals. This shade is from one of these palettes. It's the light medium shade in taupe. On a small but defined blush brush that has a built-in angle, the angle will do a lot of the work for me, right? Okay. Now, when you said you like contouring, I assume you meant on the cheek, because that's what most people generally lead to.
I do cheek drawing and usually bronze and even on the cheeks too after.
Yeah, I love a bronze on the nose because it creates almost like warmth, a little bit more harmony.
Yeah.
It's less makeup looking,
Yeah.
right? Kind of the look we're going for. So when you're contouring, I personally start closer to the hairline. Starting further back creates a little bit more shadow towards the hairline where it's more camouflaged. If I start in the center of my model's face, I'm putting down so much product there, and then I have to almost try to diffuse it. I mean, you can't always. So starting closer to the hairline where there's that little bit of camouflage will really help you seamlessly make that shadow without it looking overdone, as well as just knowing that you're going to be happy with it. So you want to use the shape of your brush to your advantage. The tip almost is the finest point, the least amount of product, so I'm just kind of using that to sharpen the cheek a little bit and pull upwards. Beautiful. Wanted to see from afar, it looks pretty nice. That works for me. For everybody, sorry? With a little bronzer, yeah. For everybody feeling those blushes, what are your first thoughts? I would love to hear from you.
Soft.
Very soft, squishy almost, right? What kind of bronzers have you been using in your makeup kit so far? Or sorry, not bronzers, blushes. Do you reach for powders, liquids, creams?
Creamy to powder.
Creamy to powder usually? So always using a rotating chair will help you as an artist kind of look at the makeup from different angles. It also is a little bit less stress for your model. They don't have to move, you don't have to run around them. A little bit of warmth through the temples, into that hairline again. If you think of contouring and the concept, it's about creating balance and structure, as well as almost like getting a face shape to the most ideal face shape. So if there's any areas where you're looking to recede the size, make it look a little bit smaller, adding that shadow there will always help. My model has a very symmetrical, beautiful face, so I don't think she needs that. But for balance, if you're doing it in the cheeks, it will always look a little bit more natural if you bring the contour to a few other areas. For the jaw, to sharpen it a little bit underneath, not so much actually on the jaw, because we're just enhancing that shadow that already exists. Believe it or not, that blush, I have so many more shades of it. So I'm gonna look through them and figure out which one. It's a new product. It actually came out, I think, today. This is or yesterday. It's the reformulation. And because my model said she prefers cooler toned pinks, I'm gonna reach for the shade Blush Please. I do actually have a very cool toned pink, but it's very vibrant, so maybe just a splash of that. This is kind of more of that neutral pink, right? And this is the very vibrant one, so maybe just like a small bit. That's kind of the color story. This is very bright, so a very small amount. Okay, with this product, very unique because it is almost like doughy. I like applying it with more so a dense brush because it stamps it on once again. I feel like the traditional blush brush won't pick up the product as well because it's not really a powder. It's not loose like that. So what we're gonna do is press. When it comes to placement for your blush, so many options with placement. As you can tell, my nose has like red on it. I like a bit more like a sunburned, sun-glazed look. For her, I'm going to keep it higher on the cheek to help pull the cheeks upwards, and we might still build a little bit of blush on the nose, but very softly. Okay. You can turn that way, please. I believe the brush I'm using is kind of a hybrid brush. I use it for foundation a lot as well. 128 is the number. Turn it back towards me. So good, very pretty. I can trim this a little bit. And as you can see, when you slowly build up the layers of hydration, light reflection, she has that healthy glow from the strobe cream. Like I can still see it kind of peeking through the foundation, especially in comparison to say her chest, which is like, it's natural, it's not super matte, but it's not nearly as glowing, right? This is so pretty, gotta see. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit over the nose, and then we're still gonna add that brighter pink in. I find blush is very trendy for the summer. People love that rosy, dewy, healthy glow. MAC likes to make their own like micro trends that we follow in our stores, and one of them right now is called Blush Smoothie. And what that consists of is a cream blush with a lot of skincare layered in to create that kind of juicy, healthy look. So as you can see, I've already done that. One of the ones I believe I passed around, it's called Plush Pepper. Yeah, do you have it? Did I pass it around? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Plush Pepper. But it's the same style, the same formula. Now, I don't know how this is gonna look, so I'm gonna very gently test the waters.
She has a
Always
lot.
gently first because you just want to make sure you like it before you commit. See how it looks on my hand. With the lighter pink, I'm going to keep it even higher. So I don't want to go over it directly, but I do just want to almost go into the eye area, almost into the temples. Think of it almost as like a highlight, but with color rather than shine. Does it look good from where you are? Yeah, good. And truthfully, like this light pink, for someone with a mid skin tone, it can be a hard type of shade to pull off because sometimes it can look a little bit too white. It can go slightly ashy. So having the base of a more neutral rose tone first kind of helps adjust it, brings it back to life. Think of it as color correcting, but with blush, right? What kind of lip do you all think would flatter this look? So we can all collaborate here. Something glossy, I think, for sure. But what kind of color?
Almost
Pinky
Pinky
beige.
nude? I agree. It's more so that like monochromatic kind of vibe, right? It tells like a whole color story. So I am going to use some powder on top of her cheeks just to really ensure that it does stick a little bit better, as well as I think we can build up the light reflection even more. So I need to see what I have, but I'm looking at powder blushes as well as powder highlighters here. I'm going to do a little bit of soft and gentle. It's like a MAC classic. I also brought gentle mineralized blush. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that, but we'll see. That's kind of going to set all the cream products. These blushes are pretty self-setting, the cream ones on their own, but this will always help. While these sanitize, I'm just going to take a step back. Okay. One thing that's nice about using, say, a powder highlight is translating it onto the eye as well, especially for a very natural, subtle kind of look. Pulling the same colors from the cheek into the eye will always build that cohesive story, and it makes your job so much easier. Like, you don't need to overthink it, you don't need to do a whole eyeshadow palette. The same types of products will look so seamless. Have any of you used Soft and Gentle before?
I think
No?
I think
It's like, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
If you already have strobe cream, this is like
Yeah.
hand in hand with it. It's what I was saying earlier, one of those hero products. This is a MAC hero. People trust it, they love it. It gives that ultimate glow, so seamless and easy. Has a slight blend of almost like silver pearls to it, so it doesn't pull gold or too bronzy. Really lightly tracing and wisping those same areas. As well as the nose. And I'll even do the Cupid's bow, just for a little bit of extra sheen. Yeah, looks good, looks good. Okay, a little bit of gentle, why not? Have you ever worn like this type of blush before?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my go-to.
That's your go-to?
My
Good.
everyday.
Love. So now I'm just thinking with the eye, I do want to keep it quite simple. Like I said, I'm going to bring in some of those same colors. Same with the lip. We spoke about having more of like a neutral, rosy, glossy shade. I just have to gather a few products. Any questions while I'm kind of getting products, feel free to ask them. And if anyone wants to see those other blushes, they totally can. But if not, you don't need to. No? Does anyone want to feel them? See them?
Yes or no? This is.
No? Okay. Sounds good. Now, to go hand in hand with that new Glow Play blush that we've all been playing with and feeling, there's also tinted lip balms that will help kind of add to the story, I think. So there's a soft pink I'm going to add in with some lip pencil. And then we'll do a slight soft eye. So my model has very full lashes. Are these your natural lashes? Incredible. Do you have mascara in them? That's incredible. Obviously the lashes should be the focus of her eye because that's what she has naturally. She's gonna probably look the most like herself. It will just enhance her natural beauty. It takes a lot of time and stress off of you as an artist, especially if it's like a clean, barely there look. I will probably do 24-hour eye base, which is an eyeshadow primer. It's more on the clear side. I will also do Max Stack mascara to lift the lashes, and then potentially some brown liner and the highlighter on the lid. Now, one of the benefits of this eyeshadow base being clear and translucent is it works with any type of color I decide I'm going to put on top of it. Often if you go in with something more opaque, beige, your model's skin tone, whatever it is, yes, color will stick to it and it can often look brightened, but sometimes it can dull it down as well, especially with shimmery textures. It can almost like be too flat behind the shimmer shadow. So I like having a little bit more of this translucent base. Okay, close your eyes on me. Beautiful. Powder, just lightly through the crease, same face powder. You don't have to get complex and pull out a beige eyeshadow. Bring it into the inner corner of the eye as well, don't forget that area. I feel like just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, gotta see the makeup from like 360 degrees, right? Okay. Soft and gentle, like I said, more of a flat brush though, we'll kind of pack it on. This I might even wet, just for a little bit of extra shine. Using Fix Plus, it's a great mixing medium to enhance, illuminate, creates more of like a metallic reflection. Close. from here it's really catching the light. How does it look from there? Pretty bright, hey? Maybe a little bit of that same blending brush just to soften the edge out. Do you mind opening your eyes? I'm gonna grab a little bit of mascara on a disposable brush. MaxStack has full volume. It's a wax blend formula. So one of the benefits of that is you can layer it quite endlessly and it won't crumble or flake on itself. The wax kind of stays a little bit more, not wet, but flexible, more flexible. Pardon? Oh, hey.
If you have like really short eyelashes, what kind of mascara, like wand and mascara, would you use?
This is my favorite one. If you want to pass it back to her, because you can open it, the brush should be in there. It's called Extended Play. Really great for lengthening, but keeping the lashes well separated.
Okay.
A lot of artists love it for under the eye as well, because it doesn't transfer. It's considered also a tubing formula. So a tubing formula, very sweat, humidity resistant, sets at your body's temperature. Doesn't come off with tears, but when you soak your eyes in warm water, it comes off.
Oh.
So you don't actually need makeup remover to like scrub it off. Could be a potential good alternative too for someone with lash extensions for that reason. Maybe not on top, but if you need to go around it, right? You don't want that oily makeup remover.
And this is like for like short little nubby
So
lashes.
good for short lashes, for sure. Actually, I probably have disposable wands that match it if you want to try it later. Look down. You're sure these are your real lashes? For cycling? So I feel like with mascara, honestly, most customers, clients, they can really get right in there to build up their lash look the way they want. You should be able to do that too, but if you have a certain type of look in mind, like this is a very soft, natural look, it doesn't necessarily require a super full lash, especially because she has very full lashes. I'm more so just putting like the frosting on the cake here. The mascara also, if there's any pigment particles, shimmer that lands in them, it'll help deepen it, kind of bring a little bit more emphasis back. There's one little flake there. I'll let it dry and then I'll take a Q-tip and just peel it away. You sure your lips are well conditioned now from your lip balm? Can you just very gently cleanse your lips for me? How's the skin looking from afar?
Really
Out of this
good.
world, like so glowy, fresh.
Like very smooth.
Very smooth, for sure.
Yeah.
She's doing such a good job taking off her existing lip. I can still see the highlighter there. She didn't disturb it. But even if she did, that would be okay. So I actually sanitized 2 lip pencils. One's more of a brown, it's called Cork. Great neutral to kind of enhance her natural lip, as well as kind of bring that emphasis back and create an ombre effect. And then I brought Whirl. Whirl's more mauve, kind of more of a natural lip shade for her. I'll probably use a blend of both, but I'm gonna start with Cork. Let's see. Just close your lips, yeah. Perfect. Okay, we'll use a little bit of the Whirl, which is more of that mauvey pink, just to kind of help ombre and smooth out the transition so it's not so harsh, the lip line that I've created. Trying my best to use the side of the pencil so I don't drag or snag her lip. I don't want it to feel a little bit rough. And then I did bring out that Glow Play Lip Balm. These are very sheer, very little color, but they do almost adjust with the body's natural pH. So this being pink, it looks very soft, but it will get a little bit richer on the lip. It almost warms up. And with this, I'll just use a small, flat little brush. It's the easiest to apply. Stretch your lip a little bit for me, but a little bit. I find this type of like very wet, glossy lip look is very popular with clients. It's a little bit more maintenance though, so they do need to understand that they'll have to have their own product to touch up with if you're not there with them. If it's for like a photo shoot or something along those lines, you're always going to be there to kind of assist and touch up as need be. Pencil after. You can massage your lips together if you would like. I think the final step, I don't want to powder too much, but I will powder under her blush to create a little bit more contrast between the glow and the texture that's naturally underneath. It's almost like a micro contour in a way where the naked eye might not see it as much, but on camera you'll almost notice the definition and the detail between the texture. Turn that way. looks good. Okay, maybe just a little bit here. I feel like no one likes a shiny chin, truthfully. And then she has so much moisture on her skin. She probably doesn't need another layer of spritz, but I love it. It will melt everything in. All the powder particles will almost dissolve. So close. Try to get the majority of the face, because if you miss an area, you'll notice. Or maybe you won't notice, but you should have. All right, everybody. So I'd say that is like a finished, very healthy, glowing, soft, no makeup look. Lots of texture, I would say. Lots of like light reflection, but in those high points. The skin looks very soft and seamless. Very natural though. Like I could have done more coverage, and I think it really just depends on your personal style and your model's requests. If they have any areas that are maybe, I don't want to say a pain point, but an area they know they want more coverage, collaborating with them so you understand their needs. Luckily, my model was so easygoing, and I know this is for like a class, so she's like, do whatever, right? But life won't always be that way. People can be picky. I love how the lip turned out. I think it's like a nice, healthy, juicy glow, and the cork lip pencil really adds a nice hint of definition. The eyes, we use that same soft and gentle, which is on the cheek, just to help bring that cohesion and that light reflection. It's the same type of color. It doesn't distract from the eye or the cheek though. It almost like is a very healthy blend and balance. Yeah, take a look and tell me your thoughts.
That's me.
Yeah, do you like the lip?
I do.
Yeah. Is it smudgy? Oh, there's a hair. Got it. There you go. If you don't mind dusting your shirt, there's a few little brush hairs there too. Thank you. Yeah, if you all wanted to get up, take a look, if you have questions, ask me about the products I've chosen to use. Yeah.
You do a bit of liner too.
Liner as well. So,
Something for your natural.
what part of the eye do you like to enhance with your liner?
I only do the ends usually.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. So, since she only does the ends, we're gonna grab a brown, as she just requested, and I think that's also a very good idea. I have a long-wearing twist-up pencil. The shade is called Skip the Waitlist. It's a little bit more like a coppery bronze. It's not too orange though, so it won't disrupt the pinks. It is just gonna kind of catch the light. With this type of pencil, because you don't sharpen it, it is a twist up. You do want to use like a tissue almost to make the edge as narrow as possible, right? But a benefit of it being a twist up is it's that long wear formula. So it's a little bit more advanced than a classic pencil. So I'm going to go very tight to her lash line, on the top mainly. You can close or look down, whichever's easier for you. Slightly snag the skin, it doesn't have to be too tight for this type of look. Open. What I'll do is use actually that same little brush I used for concealing, just to almost lift the liner. It's gonna drag out and create a little bit of that slight wing without actually being like a winged liner. It's more so creating the definition with the contours and the grooves of her eye. babiest baby wing ever. Your makeup's like ballerina makeup. Very pretty though, because it does just kind of pull and snag your eyes outwards. Take a look. Very soft brown. It doesn't take away from the lashes. Lashes are still very bold. I don't think she could ever not have bold lashes, truthfully. But it does add a little bit of detail and definition. Black, I think, would also be okay because she does have black hair, so it wouldn't look too harsh on her. Someone with lighter hair or fairer skin, it would look very harsh. So you want to always identify those features when doing the subtleties, right? All right. Jazreen, anything you want to add while we're kind of here, just to talk to the room?
If you want to talk about career opportunities at Mac, and I think most of them have applied for their student discounts,
Okay.
but I'll cross-check in their class this week. So.
Yeah, sounds good. So if you have applied for your pro student discount, that's great. Hopefully we can expedite that. Jazreen has kind of collaborated with some of the Mac stores here in Calgary, as well as with myself and my coworker Rayanne. So she'll probably be doing as well a masterclass at one of our Mac stores, which is very exciting for us. As a career opportunity, honestly, we are always hiring. If you are interested in getting your foot in the door, Mac is a great place to continue to grow your skills. Like, I actually went to makeup school probably 14 years ago, and I finished my program, which was quite advanced, the program itself. It taught film and television, beauty makeup, special effects, but I left there almost feeling not overwhelmed, but like I still needed a lot of practice, because you move through that program so quickly, and makeup is a technical skill where you're really learning how to do things physically, visually, and the only way you get better at it is by actually practicing. And I mean practicing on all different ages, all different skin tones. To have a model show up, I've never met her before. I didn't know what she looked like until today. So I was like, great, time to do your makeup now, right? I kind of have to go with the flow, but it's years of experience working in a Mac store that's given me the ability to almost like pivot in the moment. Even too, like I was planning on doing a healthy glowing look. I wasn't planning on doing eyeliner. Yes, that was a very simple liner, but thank goodness I have years of makeup experience where I'm like, yeah, I can just bust this out. So even if you're not planning, you do need to be able to adjust. And working in beauty retail, like for a brand like MAC, is awesome. I don't want to like compare to other retailers, but MAC in comparison to other beauty retailers, you do get the physical hands-on practice to play with products, to shade match. Once you become certified as an artist through MAC, you do get to do makeup services, which are paid, and you get commissions off of them. All of that is kind of building into becoming like the true artist that's within all of you, right? Makeup is whatever you make of it. I know many people go to school for makeup to aspire to be a freelance artist, and that's okay. MAC is still a great place to build your knowledge and artistry skills, because it takes a long time to build your freelance portfolio, as well as your freelance business, because it's all just up to you and what you put out into the world, right? But yeah, we always have opportunities in our stores. MAC is also in the Hudson's Bay. Some people do work through there. I would say you get the most hands-on experience in our stores though. If you're interested in applying for any roles that are available, I referenced earlier, an on-call role is a great starting point, but you could also apply for any position. Depends on your personal experience. maccosmetics.ca/employment is how you would go about that. From there, it takes you to a website that shows all the available roles in the region. So you put in your postal code, I think, and it tells you all of Calgary or Edmonton or wherever you live. And yeah, that's the story.
Thank you.
Awesome, no problem. Looks really good, everybody. If you want to come take a closer look, please do. But yeah, thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Can you please tell a little bit more about eyeliner? How do we select that, which type of eyes? I mean, there are so many styles of applying eyeliner. So how do we select? It's up to the customer. What do they want, or it's like whatever suiting the eye?
It's both. It's whatever flatters the eye, because there are so many different eye shapes that certain looks may or may not flatter. But it is up to you as an artist to use your critical eye to know what will flatter, so you can suggest, but you can maneuver.
Okay.
Truthfully, for her, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing eyeliner. So I did a smaller type of liner that will enhance the eye. It's not necessarily taking over the makeup look, as I wanted the makeup to focus on the skin, the juicy, healthy glow, right? If the client wants a lot of eyeliner, have conversations. How do you normally wear your eyeliner? Show me pictures of eyeliners that you like. Tell me what you like about this eyeliner. Is it the color, the shape, the size? You really need to investigate, and that is a big part of like being a makeup artist, is understanding what your client has in their mind. So asking enough questions to really learn about not only their needs, but their expectations.
And what about the lower waterline? Do we need to apply anything on that?
I think it could maybe be okay for this look, but I don't think it's going to make or break the look, because the focus isn't the eye.
Okay.
If your focus was the eye and it was a very large black liner, of course, a little bit underneath it would help balance. And that's something you kind of learn as you work through different styles. Even just on social media, you'll see, right, that like it's all about balance, whether it's the face or the eye.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. For liner though, some products that I love, very easy for a pencil liner to smudge, as well as long wearing. Liquid liner, it's called a brush stroke. Very fine tip. It's not a felt tip, it's like hair bristles wound up really, really tight. I can pass that to you if you want to look. And then to learn and to practice eyeliner, if you're doing winged shapes, the gel style liner is your best friend. Gel style, you have a lot of control. It's not as intimidating as a liquid. It's in a pot like this, and you would put it on with a very fine brush or an angle brush to create the actual shapes you want. And like the rest of the makeup look, it's all about viewing the eye from different angles to ensuring it's symmetrical. You have to almost like move and rotate, see it from different sides. All right.
Next time, closer, take a look.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you
all.
so much.
It was a lot of fun. I know, so you're an artist now.
मेरा क्या क्या देख लो मुझे यार ये सही ये सारी में
I used this, more of a dense brush. I described how it's great for creams, and this is the style blush we did. So I passed it through around, they're more like a sponge texture. So really great to bring that glow.
Why are you holding all the products? Because I want.
Thank you. I just stunning. Please take a look. This is for face powder, blush. I use this for foundation often as well. More so concealer, small areas, right? Kind of this area here. Thank you. Thank you. And if anyone has any other questions, please go for it. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
And thank you,
I
Steve.
have a question.
Yeah, this is great. I love doing this.
What does a tinted moisturizer make a difference to foundation and concealer and everything?
So tinted moisturizer is very consumer friendly. And when I say consumer friendly, I mean you may not need it for a makeup kit in comparison to foundation, but consumers like it, like customers, because it's an easy everyday alternative. So often it can have built-in skincare, SPF, skin benefits, right? So it's usually thinner than foundation, can look very natural, but people like it because it's an all-in-one. We also have, I didn't end up using it because her skin was so glowing, but we also have Strobe Dewy Skin Tint. So it's a hybrid between a tinted moisturizer and the strobe cream. I was thinking of maybe using it. It has like a very nice healthy pearl and shine. For For the average customer, this might be too shiny, but for a makeup artist, it's very fun. I'll show you a little bit on my hand. Let's see. So it has like a lot of light reflection, but comes in skin tones. So it gives a very healthy